We talked about teams in the sport then and now. What about the players? Were the players better then? Were the players better now? I know you're the now guy. They're all better now, right?
Well, I'm going to give you a helpful piece of advice.
Okay.
If Joe Cap versus Peyton Manning comes up, you're going to be the now guy, too, if you want to be right, okay? I'm going to go with the guy who's the better player then or now.
Well, I can tell you this. That's really where people really love to debate it. Yesterday's guy versus today's guy. That's an awfully fun debate. What did you think about yesterday's guy and today's guy? We'll start with Tom Brady and Joe Montana. It's a Tom Bush BMW shout-out.
Brady, baby.
Joe Montana. Montana.
I'm the old guy. I'm going to go with Montana.
I'm going with Brady.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Joe Montana, because, Brady looks great, and I know he's won a few Super Bowls, but Montana won 4 or 5.
Joe Montana. Not because he went to Notre Dame by any means whatsoever, but
I think that Tom Brady might get a slight nod due to the better-looking females he gets to accompany him around.
Okay, look, Tom Brady's a good quarterback. He's got a nice career going. He dates all the pretty girls. That's great. Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback to ever play in the National Football League. It's proven, the championships, the records. Joe Montana, I don't think you can compare anybody to Montana, much less Tom Brady. Tom Brady's had a great career, and a day may come. Right now, Joe Montana in the championships with the 49ers, he's the greatest player ever.
I'm glad you upgraded Brady from good to great in the span of one segment. And where was it proven that Joe Montana's the greatest quarterback of all time?
Did you get the memo?
I've got the memos, okay? I've actually read the memos. Okay. Joe Montana, history will judge him better than Tom Brady. However, you give Tom Brady Jerry Rice and John Taylor, and who knows what kind of numbers he'd put up in addition to the 3 championships he's already won. What would Montana do with the suspect group of wide receivers? Deion Branch, the greatest, he wouldn't have started for those 49er teams. And those Niner teams, by the way, had just as good a defenses as these Patriots did, in many cases sometimes better. Tom Brady won a couple of Super Bowl MVPs. I know Montana has 3. Brady's far from done yet, and I think you put him with the supporting cast that Montana had, and I think he'd be right there, if not better.
You know what I suggest? Other than Jerry, I think John Taylor was a good player, not a great player. John Taylor was a good player. Jerry Rice was a great player.
John Taylor better than Deion Branch?
You know what? I think history will tell us. I don't know that he was. I think other than Jerry Rice, I don't think there's any memorable, great, super great players on that team.
Other than the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game.
But people say Montana had all this around him. He had one great receiver around him, and a lot of guys that were about the same as the Patriots guys were.
He had a pretty good tailback in Roger Craig. He had a phenomenal defense. Well, I don't think Tom Brady's one with Hall of Fame tailbacks.
I think that the people around them are similar, other than maybe Jerry Rice.
I'll take Tom Brady. Give me that supporting cast.
All righty. That is a little bit about those two. Well, what about baseball? Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds. Once again, a Tom Bush BMW shout-out.
I like Barry Bonds because everybody hates on him. Only thing behind a successful person is a group of haters, and he's got a ton of them.
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron's, no steroids.
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron's my favorite player of all time.
Hank Aaron.
Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
Well, 2 guys hit over 1,500 home runs between them. They've hit an awful lot of home runs. Aaron, Bonds, you're up.
Finally, we've got to agree. I'm guessing Hank Aaron clearly is the guy here. You know what? Hank Aaron built his muscle the old-fashioned way. He hauled blocks of ice in Mobile, Alabama.
Blocks of ice?
He hauled blocks of ice. The guy, you talk about being a patriot, a great American, all right? Hank Aaron is America. Barry Bonds is a dirty cheater, and to say that he's better than Aaron in anything is a slap against the greatest all-time home run hitter. I don't care what any record book ever says, Hank Aaron.
It's not easy to argue against the blocks of ice. Let me just say that right now.
He hauled blocks of ice.
It's hard to go against the blocks of ice. I think Aaron was the better home run hitter for the reason you just stated, because he earned it. Bonds was a better player. Bonds ran better. Neither one of them could throw. Bonds ran better. Bonds played in a tougher era against tougher competition. I think Barry Bonds, and I don't like him very much, I think Barry Bonds is one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. Next to Ruth and maybe 1 or 2 other guys, I think Bonds did more things. He could beat you running the bases. He could beat you playing left field. He could beat you hitting singles. He could beat you hitting home runs. Hank Aaron was a great player. Mike, I think Barry Bonds was a better player.
How many did Bonds do, and how many did Diana Ball do, or Stanizol Ball, or whatever those balls are that he's shooting into himself? We know what Hank did, and Hank was a good base runner, a good base stealer as well. I'm not saying he was in Bonds' category. That's the shame of this argument. Bonds would have been regarded universally as one of the top 2 or 3 ball players of all time. Now there's always going to be a cloud that follows him around.
How will history remember him? Great, or who? We don't know.
Cheater. I think first and foremost, that's going to be the thing you think of when you think of Barry Bonds.
All right, finally, we'll change our topic from baseball to basketball. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. What did you think? One more time, a Tom Bush BMW shout-out.
Jordan, of course.
Well, see, I got to go with LeBron James.
Jordan.
LeBron.
I think when it's all said and done, LeBron James.
I'm going to go with Michael now just because he's done more.
Jordan was in a time where no one was as good as they are nowadays.
Michael Jordan's the best team athlete ever.
Michael Jordan.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
The level of competitiveness is so much higher back than when Jordan. I mean, he was playing with Larry Bird, for Christ's sakes.
I'd rather make it there in 5 years and win than get swept after 3 years.
Well, we had to have somebody go up against Michael Jordan, so LeBron James got the call. Go ahead.
Well, you don't think it was James. You can't argue against Michael Jordan's career. There's only one way that this can be a fair fight. If you look at Michael Jordan's first 3 years in the NBA versus LeBron James' first 3 years in the NBA. You got a memo you're going to write up for me over here?
Keep going.
LeBron James took his team with no one to the NBA Finals in a weekend East, I'll give you, but took him to the NBA Finals in his 3rd year in the league. Michael Jordan was playing for Dean Smith. I know what you're doing. 6 titles. I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing his career.
We're going here.
I'm not arguing his career.
When LeBron gets there, will you call? You got my number?
6 plus 1. That's how many years it took Jordan to get as far as LeBron just went.
6 titles, okay? When LeBron gets there, I don't even know that I want to.
Not arguing the full career.
I don't even know that I want to debate this one. Number one, his first years, there was guys named Magic and Bird and all that. Hang on, do I have it again? There's my debate, okay? You want to know my debate? There it is, right there. Jordan and LeBron.
First 3 years, it's LeBron James. Sorry. Career, I'll give it to Jordan. What else can you do?
Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. Almost out of time. We'll be back to wrap it after this. Stay with us.
More top picks and trash talk coming up on the 1010XL Showdown presented by Florida Telco.
The topic has been then and now. Were sports better then? Were sports better now? Mike's one of the most fun debates in sports. Which was better then and now? More good players then, a different kind of game. More good players now, a different kind of game then.
Well, it was a different kind of game. And you know what? Really what this debate boils down to is when you were young. Okay? Whenever it happens to be, the closer you are to your youth, the better you think that period of time is because you romanticize it. No matter who you are, you feel that those guys are your guys and therefore they're somehow better than everyone else's. I think if you look at it, though, I agree with you. Today's athlete, a much better athlete for so many reasons. He has so many advantages in training and nutrition. But we do romanticize it in some cases rightly, like we talked about the NBA, a better style of play 20, 30 years ago.
I fear that today's kids won't appreciate it the way we did. Those players won't be our heroes. Charles Barkley and others have said they're not role models. Well, yes, they are. Whether they want to be or not, they tend to be role models. And I think today's athlete has gotten away from that a little bit. At least that's my perception of it.
Well, you know what? Today's athlete, you're going to have to redefine it because today's athlete is Shaun White. It's the flying tomato. I mean, there's so many different things that kids are into today that they're not going to care about baseball the way you and I cared about baseball. They are going to care about the NFL because that's continuing to go in the right direction, and they'll care about basketball, but they might care about it more overseas than they do here in the United States.
And I don't know that I care who the athlete is. If Shaun White's a wholesome role model and is about the right things, I think that's okay. I don't think
it matters. He's a flying
tomato. Can a flying tomato be about bad things, for crying out loud? That is our program. We hope you've enjoyed it. Sports Better. Were they better then? Or are they better now? That is our program. You've been watching 1010XL Showdown. So long.
The 1010XL Showdown is a production of Spectrum Films presented by Florida Telco Credit Union.